Hi, welcome into our standing yoga class. I'm Kate, and I'm traveling right now and I forgot my yoga mat, so this is for those who want to do yoga at work or someplace where they just don't want to touch the ground. Let's start in our standing position, Tadasana, mountain pose. Roll the shoulders back and down, palms face forward, and start to bring awareness to your inhales and exhales. Take this moment to appreciate your yoga practice as a whole. Then on your next inhale in, let's sweep the arms to the sky and let's catch hold of one wrist and lean over to the opposite side. For support, you could bring both feet together so they can lean into one another. Come back to center, catch hold of the other wrist and lean to the other side. Then as you come back to center, clasp the hands together, pointer finger and thumb extended, and lean back in our first back bending pose. Come back to a neutral spine, and let's swan dive down into our first forward fold. Now again, if you were at work or something and you didn't want your hands to touch the ground, you could fold your arms together and cradle your head in your elbows. Next, inhale to exhale, we're finding a half lift to our chair pose. Just starting to wake up those glutes. Hold this for a couple breaths, and then on your inhale, go ahead and rise, and then drop the arms down by your sides. Heel toe the feet together. One option for the next few poses is to have your hands at heart center. Exhale to your chair pose, and let's step the right foot back into our low lunge. Lift the chest so the crown of the head is facing the sky. Inhale to stand a little taller. Exhale, spiral down that heel to warrior one. Remember that our warriors are a fighting stance, so you want to have a more narrow stance than a lunge. Exhale to drive the elbows down in cactus arms. Inhale to drive the chest to the sky. Inhale the arms back up to the sky. And then let's transition to our warrior two. Front heel in line with that back arch. Use an exhale breath to bend deeper in the knee. And then inhale to reach that front arm forward. Sweep the arm back. Find your reverse warrior. Pressing the chin and chest to the sky. Exhale to a side angle. That left forearm is either hovering or slightly touching the thigh. And let's come back into our warrior two. Sweep the right arm forward and pick up the heel and set it back down to find warrior one again. Clasp the hands behind your tailbone and then open up the chest to the sky. Exhale, find a humble warrior pose. Left shoulder to left knee. Keep breathing in this pose, and then we'll inhale to rise, release the hands. And we'll come back into that high crescent lunge with a hinge at our hips. Step the right foot to a chair pose and then rise, find your mountain pose. Moving on to your other side, let's step the left foot back now into our high crescent lunge and then lift the chest away from the thigh. Readjust your pose if you need. Sink into that front leg. Inhale to exhale to your warrior one. Remember to shorten that stance if your high lunge is a wider stance than warrior one. Your next breath out, drive the elbows down into cactus arms. Inhale to open up the chest to where the ceiling meets the wall. On your next breath in, reach the fingertips to the sky and flow into your warrior two, adjusting your feet. We're taking about 1 to 2 rounds of breath here. And then on that next inhale, reach the arm forward, reach back to reverse warrior. Still keeping a bend in the front knee. Exhale to your side angle, letting your breath and body lead your movement. So if you're going quicker or slower than I am, that's okay. Remember, this is your yoga practice. Find your way back to warrior two, and then sweep that left arm forward. Find your warrior one. Drop the hands behind you, clasp the hands. Roll the biceps forward, open up the chest. Exhale to your humble warrior. Right shoulder reaches for the right knee. Try not to rest the right side of your body on your thigh, but that is a modification. We'll be inhaling to rise, release the hands, and then reach them forward, hinging at your waist, finding that high crescent lunge to our chair pose. Rise to mountain pose and drop the arms down by your sides. Let's take a forward fold or a sip of water. On your inhale, you're trying to press that crown of the head towards the floor, and on your exhale, you're trying to hinge deeper from the hips. Let's roll back up to our mountain pose. And we're going to find a few more leg balancing poses, starting with our tree pose. Bring your weight to your left foot, and let's lift the right foot off the ground. We're placing that foot on the inner edge of our leg below or above our knee. Then let's bring our hands to position either at heart center, or you can clasp the hands together and reach them to the sky, squeezing the biceps towards your ears, allowing yourself to have a little lift. Next option is to extend your branches and all 10 fingers to the sky. Hold this pose, breathe, and smile. And then unhook the right leg from your left leg, hinge at the waist, and flow into your warrior 3, extending the right leg and your swords behind you. Flex the right foot and then lower it down in a staggered stance, both legs straight, hips are square, and then exhale, finding your pyramid pose. Hands resting on the lower spine if you didn't want them to touch the floor. Bring awareness to that tiny movement as you're inhaling. Your upper body is pressing forward towards the floor, and your exhale breath is pressing your belly towards your thighs. Now let's reverse this flow. So inhale to a half lift. Extend your swords behind you, followed by the right leg lifting off the ground. Then sweep up your arms to the sky in a one-legged mountain pose, and place your foot on the inner edge of your leg. You can of course use your hand to readjust that foot so it's not on top of your knee. Find a round of breath in your tree pose and then set that right foot down. You can shake out that standing leg if you need to before we head to the other side. Now the weight comes to our right foot and we lift the left leg off the ground, bringing it to the inner edge of our leg. Since we're on a new side, these are completely new poses so they don't have to mirror the other side. Maybe find another phrase of gratitude as we're in this pose. Keep breathing. Squaring the hips and shoulders to the earth. Flex the left leg, set it down in a staggered stance, finding your half pyramid, and then fold over, finding pyramid pose. Another option in pyramid pose is to wrap your arms around the front leg. Maybe you close your eyes here just to challenge a little bit of your balance, keeping those hips square towards the earth. Reversing our flow, on your next inhale, go ahead and find your half lift in pyramid pose. Bring your weight to your front foot, extend your swords, and lift the left leg off of the ground. Finding our last warrior 3 pose. Make your way to that one-legged standing pose, and then set that left foot onto your inner edge of your right leg, finding tree pose again. That left foot can either be on your inner thigh, inner calf, or even at your ankle where the toes are grounded down. Each inhale, you're trying to lift the shin bone from the ankle, the thigh bone from the knee, the rib cage from the hips, and the head from the shoulders. Your next exhale grounds both feet on the ground. And then let's find our forward fold again. Inhale to roll back up into mountain pose, Tadasana. And then let's step our right or left foot back into a wide-legged stance, toes pointed at an angle, heading into our goddess pose squat. Elbows are hugging into the rib cage, or another option is to reach them towards the sky. Inhale to rise and come back down, hugging in the elbows to the rib cage, and then bring the palms to the tops of the knees. Taking little twists, let's drive one shoulder towards the center and bring the gaze to the other side. Moving at your own pace and flow. Once you come back to center, release the hands, lengthen the legs, and pivot the toes so they're facing forward, and find a wide-legged forward fold. Hands can be resting on the ankles, and you of course can walk your legs out so you have a wider stance. Inhale to a half lift and rise. Pivot that front foot so it faces the front of the room, and find your mountain pose one more time. Inhale to roll the shoulders back and down, palms face forward. Thank you for taking this time to practice yoga with me today. If you liked this video, go ahead and subscribe to Shaped by Kate. Namaste.